me at Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. Thank you all once again for joining the session, and we hope that this session would be a very impactful one. If you can hear me, I would like to see you all in the chat box. I'd like to know where you're joining us from. Thank you all very much. You can put in the chat box where you're joining us from so I know where and how far we've gotten to. Thank you very much. Can you just put it in the chat box? Yes, I see you, Kikelomo from Lagos. Thank you for joining. Thank you very much, Taiwo from Surulere. Thanks for joining. Oh, thank you very much, Samuel from Ikeja. Thank you very much. Someone, I can't see your name, but you're joining from Lekki. Okay, so thank you all very much for joining the session. Like I said, the session promises to be a very impactful one considering the topic. I'm sure you all are here with your pen and paper ready for today. And without taking much of our time, let's get into the business of the day. Let me briefly just tell us what we try to achieve in LSETF with programs like this. So LSETF tries to support business owners because we are a job enabler organization. And we do this by bringing up programs and activities that could help you business owners to achieve all it takes to be in business, especially in Lagos State. And so part of what we do is what we're doing right now, where we give you a knowledge sharing opportunity for you to be able to build your businesses well and be able to understand the nitty-gritties of what it takes to continue in your businesses. And once again, my name is Fumi, and I would be introducing my facilitators right now. I have two facilitators here with me, and I have introduced them before. I'll do that again. I have Oluwatoyin Edem, the CEO of People's Impact, and I have Ariola Petiga, the head HR and admin, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. And I would be having Toyi take the session right now. And before I do that, let me do an introduction of Toyi. So, Oluwatoyin Williams-Edem is an entrepreneur and a senior human resources management professional with over 13 years of experience in the HR management. She has extensive expertise in HR strategy, people and organization development, people's management, leadership, and capacity development. She is the founder and current chief executive officer of the People's Impact Company, a prime human resources consulting firm dedicated in improving talent management practices for small and medium enterprises with a core focus on the SME CEO's leadership capability development. In a position, she leads strategy and business development. She is passionate about changing the narrative of employment in small and medium enterprises through best fit HR practices while helping CEOs achieving their leadership potentials and manage their employability sustainably. Through her in-depth knowledge of the Nigerian markets, she has led teams to deliver advisory services that focuses on business and people's growth, working with more than 50 SMEs and SMEs aggregators. Oluwatoyin is a life and career coach and a member of the John Maxwell team certified to coach, train, and speak. She is also a Google Launchpad Lagos mentor, a consultant, and a super mentor with FCMB She Ventures program. She's an alumna of Faith Foundation AEP program and also of Microsoft's Accelerate Labs, and also a mentee of Cherry Blair Foundation. She's a recognized volunteer, mentor, counselor, and knowledge exchanges center and Asset Tech. Wow. She has wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure we are all here to tap out of that knowledge. Thank you very much. I would want you to please welcome Oluwatoyin Williams Edem. I want to see you in the chat box welcoming her before she starts this session. Thank you very much. Toyin, you can please take the floor. I'm not seeing you all in the chat box. I want to see you in the chat box welcoming her. Yes, thank you very much. Toyin, you're welcome. Kindly take the floor. You're welcome.
I was almost thinking, am I sure I'm the one that Oluwabukola is introducing like this? Please let me check that your profile again so that I can be sure it's me that you're talking about. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I'm really grateful and honored to have the opportunity to come and speak to you. And yes, all of those things are the things that I have done. I intend to do a lot more. And that's because I'm really passionate about the SME space. I'm really passionate about how I can contribute my part to the SME space. And there are quite a number of things that are still untouched. We don't have enough people in the sector helping out. We need more people helping out in the sector. So I, for one, I am committed, and I am really hopeful that God sparing our lives will continue to do even things bigger than this in order for the sector to be sustainable. Because again, we know that SMEs are the backbone of the Nigerian economy. And without SMEs to mop up the deficit in labor markets, to mop up the deficit in employment, it will be a challenge to be able to make these things work. It will be a challenge. So really grateful for that. Really happy to be here. And I'm hoping that we will be able to take a lot out of this session that will benefit us in our businesses going forward, so that we can do much more in our businesses going forward. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So let me open my video because I saw someone say, oh, we can't see Mrs. Toyin. This is Mrs. Toyin. This is Mrs. Toyin. I hope you can see me now live and direct. And we're happy. Okay, cool. So let's get started. Today we're talking about emotional intelligence. And a number of people have wondered, why is it that emotional intelligence is such an important tool for helping businesses to be sustainable? How can we help businesses to be sustainable in terms of when the owner is a bit more emotionally intelligent? So like Fumi said, I'm going to be taking the topic from the first part of it, which is emotional intelligence from the lens of a founder or an employer, the importance of managing and challenging one's emotion and energy productivity, demonstrating empathy during communication, how to lead self and others to effectively achieve desired objectives. Now, if you have attended any of my webinars, you know that I always like to see that you are following along, that you are along with me in this conversation. So we're going to make very good use of the chat box in putting our questions, our comments, and generally just being responsive to make the webinar as interactive as possible. So let's start off by talking about emotional intelligence from the lens of a founder and employer. I'm happy that a number of us on this call are employers of labor. And as such, we will understand that we sort of have a different mindset to people whom we are employing. How do I mean? The employer or the person who started the business conceived of the idea. In conceiving of the idea, they saw a gap in the market. They understood what it was they wanted to close, and they came up with an idea that would bridge that gap, either in services or in products. Now, in being able to fulfill that gap that they have seen, they obviously would have to put a team around them. Why? They simply can't work alone. It is impossible for one as a founder to achieve the goals of your objective alone. So what then do you need to do? You start to employ people. But how can you demonstrate emotional intelligence in the kind of people you're bringing into your business? Because the first part of this topic is looking at emotional intelligence from the lens of a founder or an employer. The first part is to clearly identify what is your goal for your business. What is your vision for your business? A lot of businesses will tell you, oh, I've got a mission and a vision. So now let's go into the chat box. I want to see in the chat box, how many of us have a vision for our business? I want to see it in the chat box. How many of us have a vision for our business? I'm in the chat box and I want to see your responses. How many of us have a vision and a mission for our business? I'm here. Okay, good morning and welcome. Yes, I do. So Lawrence Chicago is saying he does. Any other person? Gideon has as well. I'm waiting. My webinars are not one-way lectures. You have to contribute. Thank you very much for Lagbade. You do. Can we have more people? Funsho Taiwo, thank you so much. You have a vision and a mission for your business. Fantastic, fantastic. I'm really happy to see that. Now, the other part of the question is, thank you, Adebayo, for your response, Ogunaike. Thank you for that response. The other part of the question now is your vision and a mission a factor in recruitment? Okay, Abdulaziz, you don't have a business yet, but you have a business idea. Fantastic. I'm really praying that by the time you've gone through this year and all of the series of webinars that LSETF is putting in place, you would definitely have a full-on business idea for yourself. Not just a business, but a business, and not just a business idea, I beg your pardon, but the actual business. All right, cool. So for those of us, Funsho Taiwo, Adebayo, Adeniran, Ibrahim, that we have a vision and a mission for our business, I want to ask a question. What part does that vision and mission play in your recruitment? Because now we're talking about emotional intelligence, and we're talking about the fact that you can't do your business alone. You have to get people into your business. Now, the question is, what part does that knowledge of you having a vision and a mission, what part does that play in you selecting people? Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Olayemi Shegun. You said it helps you to select people of like minds. All right, lovely. Can we see more responses? My apologies. I'm just recovering from an illness, so you will hear me cough occasionally. Okay. Whoever is joining, so Gideon is saying that whoever is joining the organization must be somebody that is aligned with his goals. Fantastic, fantastic. I want to see more responses because I need to know that we are all aligned and we're building on this point together. It is very key. So whilst other people are putting in their responses, let me carry on. It is very important that first you must have a vision and mission for your business. And this is because on what basis is your business hinged on? What do you seek to achieve? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What's the overarching business? Are you just trying to sell? I mean, of course, it's possible for you to say, oh, I'm just trying to earn a living. But right now, with the way COVID-19 has changed the face of how business is being conducted all over the world, not just in Nigeria, it's very clear that if you don't have a vision and a mission, your business will not be able to survive economic upheavals, natural disasters, economic challenges, governmental regulations, even local infrastructural challenges. Your business will not be able to survive. Why? Because you need something that will push you through. When there are challenges, when there are issues, when you can't get your suppliers, when your staff are not behaving well, you need something that will continue to drive you. It is your vision and mission that will continue to drive you. So if you don't have one, please, I will encourage you. It's extremely important. Excuse me. It's extremely important that you please sit down today and design a vision and a mission for your business. Now, once you have designed a vision and a mission for your business, the next thing is for you to look at individuals that are aligned with that vision and mission. Why is this important? Because if you don't have individuals that are able to resonate with your vision, you will always seem to have challenges with them. Let me repeat that. If you don't have individuals that resonate with your vision and your mission, you will always seem to be going at loggerheads with them. It will always seem as if you're having a challenge. Please, 1 minute, let me just request for water. 1 second. Please, can I get a cup of water? Thank you. Now, you will always have a challenge with them. And that's because they just don't seem to align with your business. So in order for you to avoid that, you need to make sure that when you are hiring, you're hiring people that are of like mind. Now, having made that point, step number 2, How do you apply emotional intelligence when you're dealing with the challenges of people management in your business? I'll repeat that question. How do you apply the principles of emotional intelligence when you are dealing with people management issues in your business? So let's go back to definition. I believe going back to definition will help us to set the broad stones for us to be able to add on the arguments that we'll be having this afternoon. The first point is this: what is emotional intelligence? Does anybody in our session today understand the meaning of emotional intelligence? Please drop it for me in the comment section. I'm waiting. I'm looking at the comment section now. I want to see, can anyone give me the definition of emotional intelligence? Thank you very much. My apologies again. I'm just recovering. Okay. Adeniran Sheon says, can two work together except they agree on the vision and mission statement? Is that a question? Please let me know if that is the question. And so some house rules. If you have questions, which I believe you might have during the course of this session, please, even I have a notepad with me here. And that's because I know that ideas can pop into my head. So I have my notepad and I have my pen. Grab your notepad and your pen and drop it down on your notepad. When it's the appropriate time, you can drop those questions in there. I believe we would have all of your questions addressed without leaving one untouched. So please be confident of that. Yes, so back to my question. Thank you so much, Taiwo. We can kindly post our questions in the question box and facilitators will address them after the session. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yes, so I was asking, what is the definition of emotional intelligence? Is there anybody in the house that can help us with the definition of emotional intelligence? Just so that we know that we are all on the same page. Okay, thank you so much, Rashid Odelumi. He says, or she says, I apologize. Emotional intelligence is the ability to separate your emotion from the situation around you. Okay, emotional intelligence is the ability to separate your emotion from the situation around you. Okay, any other takers? Any other takers of what the definition of emotional intelligence is? Okay, Abdulaziz Sumaila says, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand the untold from body expressions and from expressions and body languages and deal properly by way of empathy. Okay, I like that. So we have here 1, ability to separate your emotion from the situation. 2, ability to understand expressions and body language and deal properly. Then we have a third one from Ademola Delodun. Thank you so much for that. Emotional intelligence is the ability for an individual to perceive, use, and understand people and their emotions. Oh, wow. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. Oh, I can see some more responses coming. Ekpek Badeumi says, emotional intelligence is the capacity to control and express your emotion and handle relationships judiciously. Thank you. Funsho Taiwo says, emotional intelligence is a way to work, release stress, and communicate with others. Okay. Obiageli is saying, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand physiological buildup of people you work with so you can maximize productivity. Wow, that's plenty English, but thank you very much, much understood. Okay, Olayemi Shegun says is having control over your emotions by not allowing it to destroy your person. This is interesting. Having control over your emotions and not allowing it to destroy your persons. I'm going to start. Thank you all very much. And you can give yourselves a very warm round of applause for your responses. I really appreciate it when participants make a webinar very interactive. Because again, see, I'm not sure I'm coming here to tell you what you have not known before. I'm only probably coming to show you how else you can apply it to your business. So thank you very much for co-facilitating this webinar with me. Let us start from Olayemi Shegun's response. Having control over your emotions by not allowing it to destroy your person. There are 2 fundamental truths in that definition of emotional intelligence. One is that you have emotions. Let me repeat that. There are two fundamental truths in that Olayemi Segun's statement. One, we all have emotions and we are driven by emotions. Please, guys, I don't want us to get into, some people will say, oh, we have to separate things. Yes, you can try as much as possible to be objective. And as a core HR person, we always try to be objective. But the truth is, humans are creatures that are made up of emotions and are driven by those emotions. There's no way you can remove completely emotions from human interactions. The only thing you need to focus to do is learn how to control the emotions. That's why I said there are two fundamental truths in Olayemi Segun's statements. You have emotions, one. You must be able to control your emotions, two. Then the third point I will layer on that is that you must be able to properly manage your emotions in such a way that you can effectively work with others. Now, as a founder of a business or an employer of labor, there are so many pressures on you. You're worried about your rent. You're worried about suppliers. You're worried about clients. You're worried about customers. You're worried about third-party vendors. You're worried about governmental regulations. You're worried about where you're going to get the next customer from. You're worried about the employees you've hired into your business. You're worried about your own mental well-being and how you can continue to carry on despite the challenges around. There's so many things you're worried about, and rightly so. Remember, you were the one who got the vision and mission to start this business. And it wasn't a conference vision. You got the vision. You have the drive. You did your maths. You did your profitability analysis. You did everything, your business plan. You went and even collected a loan in order for you to be able to start this business. So there's a lot of pressure on you. I recognize that. We all recognize that. But you cannot transfer that pressure to others when you are dealing with them. Let me repeat that. You cannot transfer that pressure to others when you are dealing with them. So who are the people you regularly deal with in your business? You regularly deal with clients or customers. You regularly deal with your suppliers. You regularly deal with your employees. There are pressure points, but you are not allowed to transfer these pressure points to these people in your business. And that is why you must first understand that, one, you have emotions. Yes, you're controlled by your emotions, but you must learn to be able to manage your emotions. So in this conversation we're going to have today, there are three things I want to highlight to you. Please write them down. There are three things that I want you to leave this conversation with. Even if you don't remember anything down, there are three things I want you to leave this conversation with. The first one is that you must know yourself. Let me give you some time to write down that. Can somebody be our scribe? Who is going to be our scribe? Let's see it in the comment section. There are three major points that I want to leave you with at the end of this conversation. The first one is know yourself. Can I see know yourself in the comment section? I need to know that you are following me. Fantastic. Fantastic. Know yourself. Know yourself. Fantastic. Then you must choose yourself. Point number two, choose yourself. Know yourself. Choose yourself. Fantastic. Thank you, Kikelemo, for being our scribe for today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Choose yourself. And then the third thing, give yourself. It sounds funny, but I'll explain it. Don't worry. I'll explain it in the course of our conversation. Give yourself. Thank you very much, Ademola Adelodun. Know yourself, choose yourself, then give yourself. Thank you very much. So let's go to know yourself. I beg your pardon. Let's go to know yourself. You know, we said we wanted to establish emotional intelligence from the lens of the founder or the employer. How well do you know yourself? Is a question. How well do you know yourself? If you know yourself 50%, please drop it in the comment section. Let's see. If you know yourself 100%, drop it in the comment section. Let's see. If it's 75%, if it's 0%, no problem. Just own your truth. Tell us in the comment section. I'm waiting. All my scribes, Fatai, Oluyinka, Ibrahim. Okay, Abdulaziz says he knows himself 70%. Ademola says 50%. Adebayo is saying 50%. Where are all my scribes? Olayemi is saying, my own is 80%. Okay. Fatai Kayode, 75%. Arinola Bello, 75%. Okay, fantastic. So we all on this call, we are saying that we know ourselves very well. That's interesting. Can I be very honest? I think I know myself 30 to 40%. And I'm going to be 40 next year. So I'm a learner, right? I'm a learner. Oh, okay. And that's because I'm being very honest. Oh, I hope I didn't shock anybody. That's because I'm being very honest. A number of people don't really know themselves. Know yourself. Thank you, Ademola. Ademola said I did. Yes, and that's because I believe that you should own your truth. If I tell you I know myself 100%, you're not going to give me a gift. If I tell you that I know myself 10%, you're not going to beat me. So I might as well own my truth. A number of people don't know themselves. They are unaware. They are unaware of the things that they can do. They are unaware of the things that trigger them. They are unaware of the things that releases their productivity, that fires them up. Let me repeat all of that. See, I'm going to say it very slowly because I don't want you to miss it. Right now, we're discussing emotional intelligence through the lens of the employer or the founder. A lot of people do not know themselves. They are unaware of what triggers them. Either triggers them negatively or triggers them positively. They are unaware of what triggers their productivity. Like, if I ask you on this call now, at what time of the day are you most productive? Is it in the morning? Is it in the evening? Is it during the day? At what point in time are you most productive? If you want to do very serious work, like you want to get things done, do you wake up in the night to get it done? That is part of knowing yourself. When are you most likely to get upset? Is it in the morning? Is it in the evening? Is it in the afternoon? What can somebody do to you that makes you very upset, that you can't control yourself? What is that thing? What can somebody do to you that will immediately calm your anger? Remember, I said, know yourself. Know yourself. Know yourself. If you do not know yourself, you will just find that things are happening to you and you are responding to those things. And you're not able to sort of manage. You just find that you're moving from activity to activity. You're not able to harness your productivity. You're not able to harness your strengths because you don't know yourself. You have been doing a particular line of business. You've been doing it for 6 years, yet you are still not able to draw money from that business to pay yourself consistently month on month. Do you know yourself? There is an activity in your business that every time you engage in that activity, you are stressed up, you are irritated, you are frustrated, you are angry. Everybody knows, please give her a chance or give him a chance. Do you know yourself? Abdulaziz says, maybe by the end of this webinar, I will not know myself again. I definitely recommend that you need to spend some time knowing yourself. Because if you look at it, I grew up here in Nigeria, so I'm not going to come and talk to you like I grew up abroad. No, I grew up in Nigeria. I was born here. From primary school to secondary school to university, plus all of the strikes in between university, to trying to get to NYSC, to trying to even get posted for NYSC, to coming back after camp, securing your place of primary assignment, then after NYSC, jumping into the job market. Did you really have time to know yourself? Whatever it is you are doing now, was that what you studied in school? Was that what you wanted to study? Was that what you planned to study, or you studied it because of pressure from parents, family, and well-meaning friends? Whatever it is you are doing right now, are you utilizing the skills you learned in school? Do you know yourself? I'm sorry if I put a dampener on you. All of the people who said they know themselves, 80%. Now that we've asked all of these following questions, do you know yourself? The truth about it is that it's very possible that you don't really know yourself. And so when things are happening to you, when you're beginning to react, when you're going through some things in life and you're just responding, especially things in your business, you're just responding, you're just, you're just out there, you're just trying to make things work. It's because sometimes you don't know yourself. You don't understand your triggers. You're not able to avoid your triggers. So when those triggers come, you're not prepared to respond in an intelligent, in an emotional, intelligent way. You are responding, you're just answering, you're giving them fire for fire. When has fire ever quenched fire? Think about it. When has fire ever quenched fire? Is it not H2O that quenches fire? But we say respond to them, fire for fire. Don't take it standing, don't take it sitting. It's back to sender. As any of those responses, are they serving you? Are they taking you to where you want to be in your business, in your relationships with others? You have to know yourself. Your first assignment, I want to give you your first assignment. I usually like to give people assignments, and I pray that you do this assignment. Your first assignment is I want you to try to increase your level of self-awareness. Let me repeat that. Your first assignment, I want you to try to increase your level of self-awareness. Become more aware. And how can you do this assignment? Stay in the moment. Can somebody help me type our first assignment in the chat box so that people who are reading the chat box, they'll be able to see it later on? Our first assignment is that I want you to become more self-aware. More self-aware. Thank you very much, Obiagele. I see your point. I want you to become more self-aware. And how can you do it? So I'm already going to give you how to get that assignment done. Stay in the moment. Let me repeat that. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. So that means, what does stay in the moment means? When you're having an interaction with somebody, be fully present. When you're talking to somebody, when you're having an engagement with somebody, when you're having a conversation with somebody, when you're doing something for somebody, be 110% of yourself present in that situation, in that moment, in that conversation, in that interaction. Be present. Because when you are present, you are now more aware of what the person is saying and what the person is not saying. You are more aware. You remember, I'm not saying that you are trying to explain, because sometimes in trying to explain what people are not saying, you can just go left. You know that one said day. When you're trying to explain and understand what somebody is not saying, you can now say, it was a buzz, but meanwhile, the person was just talking to you very calmly. But maybe you're right. Maybe the person is one of the quiet types and they are really upset, but they are not shouting. So I want you to stay in the moment. When you're having interactions with your employees, stay in the moment. When you're talking to your clients, stay in the moment. When you're trying to make a sale, you're trying to close a particular deal, stay in the moment. What is the person telling you but not telling you? What are they saying that you are not hearing? What are they telling you that you are not hearing? How can you hear them? By staying in the moment and being quieter. Sometimes when you talk a lot, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm quite expressive. So it's not a bad thing for you to be an expressive person. But sometimes when you're speaking and you're expressing yourself a lot, you may not be asking the right questions. So you are the one talking. You are doing all of the talking, but you're not listening. Being emotionally intelligent, especially as the founder or owner of an enterprise, You have to have very active listening skills. Somebody write active listening skills in the comment section for me. Active listening skills. That means that when you're listening, you must listen and hear what is not being said. If you are not clear, you must be able to ask the right questions. But all of that will be lost when you are constantly talking. Let me repeat that. I like to repeat so that you can hear me. All of that active listening will be lost when you are constantly talking. So, to be emotional intelligent as a founder or the owner of an enterprise, you must learn to ask the right questions. You must learn to do active listening. You must learn to do active listening so that you can hear what is not being said. Because as the owner, they will not want to tell you everything. They don't know you. Maybe you are one of the temperamental types. And you've always, in times past, you were getting angry easily. So they won't want to tell you things. They'll be like, I don't want today to be a bad day. Let me just give madam space, or let me give Oga space. I don't know what mood Oga is. Or they can even be sending people to come and check you. Go and check, is Oga in a good mood before we go and tell him this thing. Are you one of those that your people are going to be tippy-toeing around you before they can come and tell you this? They need to come and check. How is today, sir? How are we going? Don't be like that. Because when you're like that, automatically you have cut off a lot of people from you. So you must have active listening skills. You must know yourself. And I've told you how to know yourself. Stay in the moment. Increase your level of self-awareness and stay in the moment. Whenever you are angry, you are upset, you are irritated, and all of that, ask yourself, why am I being triggered? Because that's a trigger. I'm giving you the answers to your assignment, but you must still do it. That's your trigger. You're angry, you're upset, you're happy, you're irritated. Those are triggers. They might not be necessarily positive all the time. Some might be negative triggers, like you are upset, but it's a trigger. So ask yourself, what triggered me? What triggered me? You must be able to identify your triggers. So please, somebody help me write, what triggers you? Let me drop that question in the comment section so that people can be asking themselves, what triggers you? What makes you excited? What makes you unhappy? What makes you angry? What makes you irritated? What gives you a high, an all-time high? What gives you an all-time low? And when you are having an all-time low, how do you get out of it? Because again, like we said, the definition of emotional intelligence is you first recognizing that you have emotions. And you cannot separate totally your emotions from who you are. You can't. You bring it into your relationships. You bring it into your business relationships. You bring it into your love relationships. You bring it into your family relationships. You take it everywhere you go. So, excuse me. How do you manage your triggers? And that is how we get to choose yourself. We are in point number 2 now. Choose yourself. We are now in point number 2. Choose yourself. So how do you choose yourself? Once you are aware, remember the first one is to know yourself. You are aware of your triggers. You are aware of what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you irritated, what makes you whatever. You are aware of it. The next thing is that you must choose yourself. Let me tell you how you will choose yourself. When you are unhappy and you are angry and you are irritated and you're upset for whatever reason, is that a positive state of mind? I want to see your answers in the comment section. Is that a positive state of mind? I'm waiting for responses though. Okay, Ademola says no. Obiageli, thank you for the answer. No, fantastic, Olayemi. Thank you very much. I can see my active participants in this class. Thank you so much. That's not a positive frame of mind. It's not a positive frame of mind. So the question is, why then do you not understand that you always have the power to choose your emotions? Why don't you choose your emotions? Why do you remain in that state? Let's take it back. Let's take it back. I don't want to lose anybody. In this session, I'm not leaving anybody behind. I'm taking you all with me. Let's say you wake up in the morning and it was a good night. You woke up very well, no major drama. But just before you left the house, you got a text message on your phone and your mood spoiled. Let me restate that. You woke up, you were fine, everything is okay, everything is going on well. You just got a text message on your phone. We don't know what text message it was, but everything went south. Your mood spoiled. So you were fine before. Then you entered into an emotional state and you dropped, boom. You just dropped. Now that you have dropped, remember when you woke up, you were happy. At that point when you dropped, I want you to be able to be aware of what made you drop. So if I was to take you back, you would tell me, okay, I woke up well, I was not happy after I got a text, after I got the WhatsApp, after I got the email, after I got the call. So it was the call that made you unhappy. Okay. Now that you've gotten the call, you've read the email, you've gotten the text message, you got the WhatsApp message, you're unhappy. How then do you decide that even in that position of unhappiness, you're going to choose happiness? Is it possible? You just received a text message, a WhatsApp message, a phone call, and it spoiled your mood. But in that very moment, I'm asking you now, is it possible for you to choose which emotion you're going to get in? Is it possible for you to choose which emotion you allow to drive you? Because you've woken up, you slept, you woke up, you were fine, you were excited. If you were married, you were happy with your family, everybody in the house knew you were okay. And then you got that text message, which usually happens because bad news either comes to us in form of one person comes to knock on your door, or they send you a text, or they give you a call. And from that moment on, even maybe in the afternoon when you are telling your friend that since I got that text message this morning, in fact, my mind just spoiled. Is it possible for you to choose yourself? Thank you very much, Obiageli. Yes, it's difficult, but the answer is yes. And you can do it by exercising that muscle. Can you see the way I'm doing my hand? You are exercising that muscle. You are exercising that muscle of choosing. So you've gotten a text message. It's not a good text message. Nobody is going to try and recontextualize it. Nobody will try and do that. So nobody will come and tell you, it's not so serious. Excuse me. You know the way somebody will tell you, it's not so deep now. It's not so, no, it is deep. And that's the thing about being emotionally intelligent. Being emotionally intelligent doesn't mean you now minimize your emotions. No, actually, being emotionally intelligent means you identify, what's that word? You acknowledge, that's the word I'm looking for. You acknowledge your emotions. You acknowledge that you are angry. You acknowledge that you are not happy. But you can choose not to stay in that emotion. Let me let that sink for a minute. You acknowledge your emotions, which is you knowing yourself, but you choose not to stay in that emotion, which is you choosing yourself. Can we have a scribe help us put it in the comment section? Because it's very important that you keep these notes. You know, some people say, oh, take your notes, and you're writing plenty notes, but the plenty notes is not helping you at the end of the day. Take the notes that will help you. So self-awareness, know yourself, is you acknowledging that you're driven by emotions. You acknowledge your emotions. Don't try and minimize your emotions. Don't try and deny your emotions. Don't try and lie to your emotions and say, I'm not angry, but you're angry. You are in fact, you are boiling, but you say, I'm not angry. And you are just going, next thing you now slap somebody. But you say you are not angry. So acknowledge you are angry. You are angry, you are very angry. But you are choosing not to stay angry. That is you choosing yourself. Because again, emotional intelligence from the lens of the employer or the owner of a business means that you must be able to recognize the emotions of the people around you. But you will not be able to recognize it when you are going, you're just breezing through your day. You won't be able to do that. You won't even be able to acknowledge your own emotions because you're flying through your day. But now that you're learning emotional intelligence, you're going to learn to know yourself. And now when you know yourself, the next step is that you will choose yourself. The third step, give yourself. What does that mean? Remember, I asked you a question. When you are angry, you're upset, you are just giving into emotions, how is it serving you? How is it helping you reach your goal? Okay, so let's go back to my illustration. You woke up in the morning, you were fine, you got a text message, your day went south, and you decide to stay in that position throughout the day. So somebody even meets you at 5 o'clock in the evening, and you're like this. And they say, Mrs. Williams, already me, I beg, I'm not fine, Jerry. I'm not even happy. Hey, what happened? Can you imagine? I just woke up this morning and then I got this text message. And since then, my day has gone down. And you decide to stay. You decided, though, of your own volition that you're going to stay in that emotional state throughout the day. How does that help you? That doesn't help you. That doesn't help you at all. So you must be able to choose yourself, which is that recognize that you are not in that emotional state permanently. And when you want to leave that emotional state, you must choose, I beg your pardon, you must choose to give yourself, which is an emotional state that allows you to switch to the one that serves your goals. I'm sure being angry, being unhappy, being upset does not serve your goal. It doesn't serve your goal at all. It doesn't serve your goal in any way. Rather, what serves your goal is to then switch and say, okay, that's fine. That's a text message. I've read it. I'm putting it aside and I'm carrying on with my day because I have a plan for my day. If you, as a business owner, you are not able to know yourself, choose yourself, and give yourself, you will continually have challenges in your business. So I really hope that with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince and not confuse you. That is key for you to first know yourself, understand your emotions, understand how emotions drive you, then choose yourself, be able to determine, okay, now that I have this emotion, I can switch it, then give yourself by deciding that the emotion that you would carry on with is the one that will help you, the one that will serve your goals. So that when you're interacting with employers, employees, contractors, third-party vendors, you will be able to interact with them in a way that is productive for you and productive for your business. Thank you so very much. I hope you've been able to pick those 3 major points out of today's conversation. Thank you so much, Olayemi. Thank you so much, Adebayo. And obviously, if there are questions, I think we should put the questions in the Q&A so that we can pick it up at the appropriate time in the session. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Toyin. It has been a very interactive one, I must say. I mean, a whole lot has been said, a whole lot of knowledge sharing has happened just right now. And I'm sure a lot of people on this session has picked a lot. Knowing yourself, choosing yourself, and giving to yourself. Knowing how to detach your emotion from the work, knowing how to detach your emotions as a business owner and as a leader. Thank you so much for all the information. Increase your level of self-awareness. How well do you know yourself? This has been a whole lot of information and knowledge sharing. Thank you once again, Toyin. We appreciate. We're still going to get questions from the participant to you. Kindly put your questions for Toyin in the Q&A box. After the session, we're going to take a Q&A session, and we can then attend to all of your questions for Toyin. Thank you once again. Right now, I'll be having my second facilitator come in and take the floor, and that will be in person of Ariola Petuga. Like I said, Ariola Petuga is the head HR and admin, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. Ariola is a certified senior HR professional. She's a lead human resource and administration team at LSETF here, and her role has been occupied since October 2019. She's responsible for providing and implementing strategic direction in the management of HR function here at LSETF. She's a qualified dentist, and since 2000 from the College of Medicine, University of Lagos. And she obtained a Master's of Science degree in Public Health from King's College, London. She has over 20 years work experience, and 15 years of this work experience has been in human resources management. So she's quite versatile in that area. Ariola has been exposed to various aspects of the HR practice, such as consulting, learning and development, organization development, talent management, and performance management. Her early career was spent in clinical dentistry in both public and private clinical practice. She has also been actively involved in other business aspects and functions such as corporate communication, risk management, ISO certification in quality management, and she's also into environmental logistics. Ariola's industry experience, very versatile, I must say, cuts across social impact, development, financing, oil and gas, conglomerate covering healthcare, financial service, and FMCG. She's passionate about education. She volunteered and served on the executive committee for our children's school PTA for over 6 years. She also served on various committees, which led to have impactful activities. Impactful, I must say as well, because Ariola here with this bio is very, very versatile. You know, those kind of people that can be in all areas and still, you know, be successful in those areas they find themselves. Thank you very much. Please welcome Ariola. She takes the floor and share with us her wealth of knowledge. Thank you, Ariola. I can't see in the chat box, we welcome in Ariola. Thank you very much, Adebayo. I want to see us welcome Ariola. In fact, she has a lot to give us because this is someone with a wealth of knowledge from all walks of life. So be ready to tap into those knowledge. Thank you. You're welcome, Ariola. Please take the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Fumi. Good afternoon. Is it 12? Okay, still morning. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. This is also a learning opportunity for me. I've picked on what Toyin said in terms of knowing yourself, choosing yourself, giving yourself. There's so many things, so it's also a learning opportunity for me. So I do expect that we would have an interactive session. Okay, so we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence. Toyin has done quite a bit of work for me, making it easier for me to, by shortening a couple of things I have to say. So talking about emotional intelligence and leadership. Now, what I would say is that this is not the sole responsibility of just leaders to be emotionally intelligent. Yes, the leader sets the tones, but all parties, including the employees, have a part to play in ensuring that the work environment, the business environment is conducive and all. So I'll just start with a preamble to set the tone of our discussion. Thank you, Obiangeli. I've seen quite a number of welcomes. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so in the ancient days or in the past, a ship captain went down with a sinking ship. They were not allowed to survive. They could rescue the sailors and everybody else, but the captain of that ship went down with the ship. If the ship goes under, the captain goes under. If not, so you can imagine the amount of responsibility that that captain as leader has, and that doesn't just include the ship itself getting to its destination. So he would ensure that everybody else survives, but he would go down with the ship. So that alone should tell you about leadership. It was common with the Navy. I don't know about commercial ships, but generally the ship would not, the captain of the ship would go down with the ship. So you can imagine. So let's start with what leadership is generally. Leadership, aside from, you can be a leader in any aspect. You can be a leader in your home, your business, in the society. And really, it just speaks to the ability or the process by which you direct, guide, influence, motivate people to behave and work towards achieving a goal. I hope everybody can hear me. And this is it's a specific goal. Now, there are several theories about leadership. Now, the recent, and I think the most popular now, is the situational leadership, whereby as a leader, you change your style depending on who you're dealing with. There are four aspects there: delegating, coaching, supporting, directing. And your style changes with the level of development or competency that the person or the situation you're dealing with. So that's, if you need to be decisive, then I'm going to be directing. You're not going to be asking questions and saying, what should we do? At that point is to take charge, and this is what we're doing. So in leadership, you can either be ascribed or achieved. Now, ascribed is the fact that, okay, you were born to be a leader, and you find that in situations like the royal family, royalty, you find it people that were born to rule or things like that. And then achieved are those that you are from achievements or that are given based on accomplishments. So now, how does emotional intelligence tie into this? It has become a pretty big requirement in leadership, and as well as teamwork. So, and which goes to what I was saying before, it's not just a leader that is required to be emotionally intelligent. Even as employees, as teammates, team members, we all require some level of emotional intelligence, particularly because we're dealing with people. And as people, we're emotional, we have emotions. That's what sets us apart from artificial intelligence. It sets us apart from animals. Even some animals do have a degree of emotions. But when we're dealing with people, emotional intelligence is what makes us able to coach or develop people, manage stress, give feedback, collaborate with other people, as in terms of working with them. It also helps us in influencing people. It helps us in negotiating. Imagine if you're as a marketer or a chief marketing officer being the lead, the owner of the business, and you are going to talk to somebody, and the person, you go in and you realize that the person is in a foul mood, and you just go on with your pitch, okay, come and buy this, blah, 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 blah. And the person is like, really, is this the time? So being emotionally intelligent is being able to ensure that you first connect with that person, get the person to put aside that emotion, and then you give your pitch. Now, we've all heard the definitions of emotional intelligence, and we have all different, people have defined it in different ways. Even here, if you ask each of us what emotional intelligence is, it will depend on where we fit. So I'm assuming that we're all business owners, but Fumi has given me the task of speaking as a leader and on giving the employees side of emotional intelligence and how a leader is supposed to relate or react to that. I would also be talking about how to manage the effects of an emotionally intelligent leader, the good and the bad, as well as ensuring ways how we ensure that the environment is palatable for employees to be productive. So it's going to be a quick one. I don't believe that we should just pour down information. For me, when we're learning, it's about passing on the information in a practical way. We're not in school, so we don't have to cram. We need to understand how do we exercise this information, this knowledge, because that's really the essence of learning. So we've said from the different definitions there, it's being able to understand and manage one's emotions. So to a certain extent, that's and also the reaction, and how recognizing and how it affects other people's emotions as well. It has become, to a certain extent, a science or a basic requirement in management. And there are 4 phases of emotional intelligence. Toyin has done justice to the first one, which is being self-aware. So self-awareness is very critical. You cannot say you are emotionally intelligent if you do not know yourself. I know myself. I know that in the morning, getting ready to go to work, I'm a bit impatient. So at that time, I don't want anybody coming to tell me any nonsense. I have my thoughts and I'm planning my work for the day. So I have it down. And then I realize I'm not a night person, even from school. And I noticed that in school, I'm not a read till daybreak type of person. I read till 10 and I go to sleep. But if I wake up at 4, what I will read between 4 to 7, I will cover what most people cover in 5 hours. I do my best work in the morning. If I have to draft documents, policies, I have to write a proposal, I do it in the morning. I review documents in the morning. So that's when I do my best work. So I push my meetings towards midday and afternoon, and I do my work in the morning. For some other people, they do their meetings in the morning, and then when things are slowing down, they're able to function. So it's just knowing yourself and knowing what works for you. Then the second phase of emotional intelligence, or second level, is self-management. Now, this is the ability to recognize your strengths, your weaknesses, and your emotions. I know that in the morning I'm short. I want to be left alone. I don't want distractions. So I keep to myself. Even in the car, I don't listen to. I might listen to the news, but I don't want any music. I just want it quiet. So that's, and we're all work in progress in that aspect. The other aspect of self-management, I think that was self-awareness. The other aspect is self-management, which is second level. That's the ability of managing your emotions, especially in a stressful situation. That's the difference. We know that the ideal situation, your normal situation, but by the second level is knowing the stressful, how to manage yourself in a stressful situation, ensuring that you have a positive outlook based on what Toyin has described. Imagine if that text coming in and it saps all your energy that day, and then you're there from sulking from morning to afternoon. Everybody asking you questions, you're snapping, you're not going to achieve anything. So the third level is social awareness. Now, this is the ability to recognize how the emotions of others affect you. Here, the simple way is being able to read the room. walk in and then it's supposed to be a meeting, but it seems a bit tense. Everybody has a frown. Then you know that there's something not quite right. And then of course, that would, you have to recalibrate and know what to do. You have to understand the emotions of others, their feelings, and then communicate and collaborate in a way that you connect with them to achieve the same goal that you had set out from the first instance. And then the fourth level is relationship management. Now, here, this is the ability to influence, to coach, to mentor others. So there are 4 levels. I don't know if someone can please put it in the chat box. So that is that I'm not just talking. And there are practical ways of doing this, just the different levels of this. Thank you, Ademola. So first, Toyin, which had done the justice to that one, was self-management. Once you're able to, self-awareness, and then you're able to manage yourself, it makes it easier to relate with other people. If you look at it that way, and then in relating with, you're socially aware, relating with everybody, then you can manage those relationships. I know when my team, somebody is coming in and is not very happy, and I'm like, okay, do I leave this person or do I ask what's wrong? How do I help this person get out of that? That's where you are at that relationship management. Now, why is this important? I know we're on a time schedule, so I'm sure Fumi is is keeping tabs on me. So why is this important to us? I've seen something from Biagili that says, you have given me wonderful insight on how to get her husband's money. All right. Yes, that's a good way. I know someone that knows that her husband likes sleep, and that's the best time to ask for anything. So he will give her anything, just don't disturb my sleep. That's why she will ask for the PIN for the ATM card. So please use it to your advantage and to the advantage of the family, so, and to his own advantage too. So why is this important? You have emotional intelligence, and it's a spectrum. So there's the negative and there's the positive. So if you're not emotionally intelligent as a leader or a business owner or an employee, it has its consequences, repercussions, and negative impact. And where you are emotionally intelligent as a team member, a leader, own business owner, an employee, it has its positive. Now, the first, when you look at a work, an organization, these things can be seen in the culture. We've heard, I'm sure for those on Twitter, you've read about all the issues of the last couple of weeks about toxic culture. And it all starts from emotional intelligence to a certain extent, mostly. So the importance and the significance of being emotionally intelligent is that the impact on the culture, the kind of culture you're trying to develop in your organization. As human beings, we all have emotions. We have good days, we have bad days. Now, if I come in with my own bad day, my teammate, who happens to be Abimbola, comes in as well with her own bad day. Lagos knows how to throw in multiple spanners, starting with light, water, traffic, and LASMA and all the LIRS, name it. As good as they all have, they have good things. They can also throw the spanner, and that just would throw everything off. So if we all come in with our baggage and we start at each other, Well, number one, we're going to have a shouting match, a very conducive, hostile environment. Then no work is going to be achieved that day. And if it escalates, can lead to blows. So I've given you just a graphic example, but in HR terms or in business terms, where we see it, the impact is on culture. It can be positive, it can be negative. In employee engagement, now employee engagement is where how the person connects with the organization, the level of involvement the person has. Now, will the person go over and beyond for that business or for the owner? How does it impact your turnover of staff, not the profit turnover? I haven't gotten to that part. Now, if you're constantly recruiting, replacing people, there's a huge cost. And honestly, there's cost in terms of cash and there's cost non-cash. The cash is the time you're spending, the time lost in productivity, and of course the salary, the benefits you're going to pay out when people leave. Then the non-cash is the loss of knowledge. I'm sure somebody, in fact, someone should just put a comment for one non-cash cost to a turnover. Nobody has to think twice about that. Please, can we put it in the chat box so that I'm not the only one talking? And I know that I've given you the cash ones in terms Jubilee training. Okay, yes. I'll put it as loss of knowledge. And it's not just the things that are written down. There's some knowledge, information that cannot be written down, that is in the head of the employee and is not, you can't transfer it. Yes, cost of training, the time spent, the learning curve, skill, yes. Even if it's just a retail position and you keep changing, imagine your books won't balance if you keep having to get people from time to time. This person knows how to do this. This person doesn't know how to do it. You have to teach the person how to operate the cash machine. They have to teach the person how to balance the books. It's communication. And then even your customers, when they keep coming, and today they're talking to A, tomorrow they're talking to B, tomorrow they're talking to C. Honestly, they're going to move. Everybody likes stability. Even as customers, we like stability. I'm not going to change my product or because I would just go and look for the next place where I'm going to get it. Yes, so somebody has put communication there. In terms of collaboration, because if you have an environment where people are not emotionally intelligent, they don't know how to talk to each other, they don't know how to relate to each other. So everybody will avoid talking to each other. So there's a disconnect. They can't collaborate on a task. And then what happens? Another thing, like trust, where they believe that, okay, if I say this one now, that's how she's not in a good mood, I don't know what will happen. Then you don't get the honest feedback. They're tippy-toeing around you every time. I've seen an environment where the boss comes in and the whole place changes. Everybody scatters. Nobody wants to be seen on the corridor. Nobody, because that's the day that if you say good morning instead of good morning, sir, it may be something. Your greeting was not complete. But reality is that life happens and we need to be able to manage it. Because the impact of not managing it is grievous. And at the end of the day, now when all these things, you put them into the mix, I'll call it a mix. Imagine a mixing bowl and you turn them around, the impact is going to happen, you will now see the Naira and Kobo impact. I don't know whether we should still use the Naira and Kobo, but it could be the dollar impact. Because even as in a retail place, the chances are that some customers will move with the salesperson to the next place. True or false? The simplest I would give, no, but has anybody responded? I don't see any messages. The simplest example is the salon business. Folashade does my hair very well. Folashade moves to salon B. I'm going to follow Folashade. She knows my hair, she knows everything. I don't want to know what happened between her and the owner of the business, or whether she just, I'm going to follow Folashade because I can't even start building that relationship of trying to explain, oh, my hair is this type. At a particular time, I need to do this. I'm just going to follow Folashade. So I think that is about the importance of emotional intelligence. So I've given positive, negative. Now, how do we make the environment palatable for our employees or even ourselves as employees? How do we make the environment enabling? I would ask for a few suggestions before and I'm not just going to give highfalutin HR theories or theoretical knowledge. These are write down basic practical tips. Okay, and we have to make it quick because Fumi is soon going to tell me that my time is up. Okay, Rashid has understand your staff. Yes. Get to know them, each person. Show care, empathy, and love. Yes, empathy, put yourself in their shoes. But it doesn't mean that you condone bad behavior or you condone lazy work or bad work. Lead by example, exactly. So, in creating an enabling environment, there are two aspects as a business owner, business leader. You have the psychological contract. Okay, we have, yes, be the leader first, good relationship, do regular checks, check and balance it, and balance. Okay, all right. Yes, thank you. Now, as the business leader and business owner, because you can be a business leader without owning the business. Now, to create that enabling environment, there are two aspects. First, you have to be self-aware, so know yourself. Tony has done that. And then the psychological contract you're creating. Now, when you say psychological contract for an employee, we all write our offer letters or we give an offer of employment to people. There are some things that cannot be written in that offer letter. I'm not talking about illegal things. There are some things that are based on perception, beliefs, morals that are not written there. And where there's a disconnect between my beliefs or morals or perception and that of the business, then it's not going to be a conducive environment for me. Now, the very key things, there are 4 or 5 of them that would start as the fundamentals in ensuring that you have a conducive work environment. Is 1, core values. One of it, I don't think it's really, it should be, it has to be written, but it's something that we should all be there. Respect. You can give me feedback. It will be critical, but it must be done in a courteous manner. Don't come to the shop floor and start shouting that you don't know anything. Speaking, because so far we're in the workplace, we're all adults. As human beings, we like to be respected. As a leader, a business owner, we need to, our behavior, and somebody had written it, lead by example, is the easiest and the simplest way. You don't even have to write anything, you don't have to say anything. But once your behavior, your character shows it, the rest is easy. You know, as it makes anything else you want to say is sellable. You don't have to work hard to convince. Okay, so they have told me time up. Let me just run through. So behavior, so you model and endorse good behavior. Your policies and your processes, in particular, there are two very key policies. Your performance management. In your performance management, there should be a behavioral aspect, which will be the 360 degrees where they are giving feedback. So everybody, again, I would pick a name, one of my team members. Ade, you're a fantastic person. But however, you need to write better, or you relate very well, fantastic, really good. So then the second policy is your disciplinary policy or your grievance policy. Those are three policies. Now, the grievance allows people to come and say that they're not happy about something in particular. And you listen, active listening, you empathize. And then your disciplinary policy is there. It's not punitive to show people pepe. It's corrective. And then reward and recognition is as simple as the employee of the quarter who models the core values, employee of the year, the most punctual employee. Very simple things. You don't have to give the person 100,000 or some big cash. Very simple. Lunch. But the practical ways are empathy, fairness, and equity, because you must treat everybody equally. No matter who, you must treat everybody equally. And that's where your policies come in. So because your policies are a guide for everybody. As much as you take everybody individually, the policy is the guide. Then we've talked about setting the example. Your communication, how you communicate, your language choices, it must be non-threatening. You cannot be threatened that your job is on the line. This is that. No. You can still correct without threatening language. And then as leaders, we always feel that we're above mistakes. No. We must acknowledge our own mistakes. I'm not saying to beg and grovel, but we must acknowledge where we're wrong. We're still human. So we can't overemphasize the self-awareness. Then we must demonstrate continuous improvement. We must demonstrate the fact that we listen to contributions or suggestions. We must demonstrate that we too are also learning. And then the final tip here, what I would say, is planning and organization. Now, planning, you must plan your work. When you know that you're a morning person, you ensure that you do most of your work in the morning. Someone says, can we apologize when we have erred as leaders? Yes, we can. I'm not saying that we should grovel, we should be on our knees, but we can. We acknowledge our mistakes and, oh, I'm sorry that I didn't speak to you properly. That wasn't the intention. Yes, I went a bit off track, but this was what I was trying to say. And that's it. So planning your work is that you know what, prioritize. Organizing is that you organize it based on, break it down to steps. It makes it a lot easier. So that said, I hope I've been able to pass on as much information. With planning and organization, please don't forget your documentation. It helps. It helps a lot. Taking minutes, writing down things, it helps a lot. So Thank you very much. I hope I have been able to do as much as I because it is a really wide topic.
Yeah, it is. Thank you very, very, very much, Ariola. It is quite a very, very wide topic. And if we actually sit on today, we're not going to leave here. And I'm sure everyone here as well wants to keep listening to you, because I must confess, I was with my pen and paper because I don't get this opportunity in the office. So let me start putting this down like, okay, thank you so much, Ariola. I appreciate, policy, performance management, planning, organization, and what have you, relationship management, social awareness, self-management, self-awareness, putting all of these things in place when running our business as well as in our daily life. Even if you're not running a business, in your daily activities as an employee or as an employer, not bringing in your baggage, understanding that your baggage is your baggage. You need to understand that the other person has their own baggage as well. And if we all try to pull out our baggages, then it will be an hell loose. So we all have heard this from the experts, and I'm sure that it will go a long way in molding and shaping us going forward. Thank you once again, Ariola. We so much appreciate you sharing your wealth of knowledge with us on this session. I will be going into the Q&A session right now, and I would be reading out the questions that have been written in the Q&A box. And if you as well have more questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A box, and I would be reading them out. Thank you. So let me start with Adebayo Ogunaike. Please, can I know how I can get a certificate training? Also, you were not specific, Adebayo. You said, can I get a certificate training? So is it in HR, or yes, we're speaking in HR terms now. So I want to assume that you're asking for getting certificate training in HR. I would like to direct this question to Toyin to take this question. I think what this person is trying to say is, how can he or she get a certificate training in HR?
Hi again, guys. Okay, we can safely go with how it can be gotten in HR, or excuse me, how we can get it in emotional intelligence. So if it's for human resources, we have one body in Nigeria, which is the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, and they are at Agidingbe. No, is it Agidingbe? Alausa, they're at Alausa. Ariola, do you remember they're at Alausa, CIPM Avenue or something like that? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And you can actually go online. You can. A lot of it is done online now. They do have the certifications for associate members. I think Toyin belongs as well as myself. And then they have regular trainings, webinars that they do, which you can, some of them are free, some are you pay for.
Yeah, and I think you can get, depending on, how, because again, I think every employer should at least aim to understand the basics of all of the fundamentals in their business. So the basics of accounting, of finance, of marketing, of people management, because you're the chief owner of the business, the chief marketing, the chief HR, the chief of the business. So you should get some grounding in some of these things. Please reach out to them. I'm sure they might have fundamentals of human resources or something like that you can get certified. Haven't taken it. Now, if it's a certification for emotional intelligence, there is an organization in Nigeria that is licensed. They are the principal partner of 6 Seconds. Now, 6 Seconds is one of the foremost emotional intelligence institutes in the world. They have a partner in West Africa. Coincidentally, that partner is in Nigeria. And that partner's name is Pause Factory. Pause as spelled P-A-U-S-E. So like when you pause a movie, Pause Factory. So Pause Factory does certifications for emotional intelligence. I recently got certified with them as well. So you can attend a certification with Pause Factory. And if anything, COB Agelida said, oh, now she knows not to ask for money in the morning as her husband is leaving the house. Emotional intelligence is life intelligence. Is how you deal with everything that is happening to you in your life. So even if you don't have a business yet, I would encourage you, attend a session of a proper session where you take 3-4 days, or even if you take a whole day. I mean, we've had this session for what? Maybe close to 2 hours now. We've had this session for an hour and a half. It's not enough. It's just, we're just touching on the topic. We're just touching on it. But please try and see if you can invest more time in understanding emotional intelligence, because it's the intelligence for life, for coping with everything that comes your way. And you can use it even in your business, outside of your business, and generally just managing your life better. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Toyin. Thank you so much. And I would be directing this question to Ariola. As a manager, what can I do if my employer is not emotionally balanced or stable?
That's a tough one. There are two things there. And it also depends on how your level of relationship. When you say somebody is not emotionally balanced, like it could be psychological. So one has to be careful about that. First of all, it might just be some level of not being emotionally intelligent. And how do you do that? Now, is it possible that there are calm days when the person is open, ready to listen, but you must have established that relationship to be able to give a feedback, and you give it in such a way that it's not that you are castigating, but in case of, madam, when you shout, we get nervous, we can't concentrate, we can't do the work well. You are tying me back to the work and not necessarily telling her that go and get help. But the impact on you and the work, that's one. Now, where you don't have that level of relationship or connection, is there somebody that this person relates with that can help? Those are two things I can quickly think of. I don't know if Toyin has something else to say.
I think you have, you've really dealt with it. You have to be very subtle. You have to be really subtle, especially, I dare say most SMEs are one-man businesses. So it can be a bit of a challenge for you to navigate around a boss who is very temperamental. Maybe the thing to do is to also try and get the person to see you as a friend, which is what Ariola spoke to, if they have a relationship with you. And one of the things we have to understand is that, see, because someone, is trying to run their business, they have a lot of pressure on them. And underneath all that pressure is just one human being that is struggling and trying to just swim against the tide. So sometimes if we step out of the employee-employer roles for a minute, we just might be able to see this person as an individual and, be able to get closer, because I mean, it's never ever easy for you to tell someone they need to go and get help. Most people will be very defensive. I mean, most people are defensive when you tell them that they have an area that they need to improve on. So you have to be very intuitive in how you tell the person that. And again, a few, hints here or there, a book or two, a journal or two, just to mention, oh, I saw this thing. And sometimes some stories are better caught, not taught. So you're saying something, you catch it. It's better. You can start a story. You can just give an example so that the person can catch it. Because when you are trying to tell them directly, it might go the wrong way. Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. In addition, you might also want to observe the person and know what triggers it. So you avoid that.
All right. Thank you very, very much. I'm sure that question has been fully answered with various examples shared. So that brings me to my next question, which is human relations and human resource management different, or are they the same? So can I have Tony's thought on this?
Are you sure Ariola is not in a better position to respond to this question?
I guess you both are experts in this.
Ariola, please take
So
a
you're
stab
even
at this
leaving me with
while I
food
get
white
water.
call.
Okay, I'm sorry, Fumi, can you repeat the question?
Is human relations and human resource management different or the same?
Okay, so human relations, human resources. Let's start with the definition. Human relations is just human beings relating with each other. And human resources is now looking at human beings as an asset or a resource for an organization. So by that definition, simple, they're different. Now, you can find them in each other, but they are typically different.
Thank you very much for that. Both sounds almost the same, but they are different aspects of the HR. So the next question says, if it is good to be nice to employee or customers. So this person, Bibiana, wants to know if it's good to be nice to employees or customers.
It's good to be nice generally as a human being. Now, I'm not sure that question is really, and that's my first the response off the top of my head. As a human being, it's good to be nice. Now, is it good to be nice? I think empathy. Put yourself in the position of the employee.
Yeah.
As an employee, how do you want to be treated? Now, if you can just put yourself in that position, that's where empathy comes in.
Yeah.
Then you know, is it good to be nice to the employee? I'm not saying I don't think that's what really is the question. There are standards really of what an employee, of your obligation to an employee. I'm assuming that you are a business owner or a business leader. There are obligations you have to an employee. And then as an employee also has obligations to you. Now, you saying being nice, does that mean that, okay, pay them their salary on time, give them health benefits, or yes, I would say yes, that is if that's your definition of being nice, yes, because these are required, and you would only get the better. Yes, we have people that will take advantage of systems or people, but once again, which I said comes to your pillars or your policies or your processes, and you are treating everybody equally. It's not that you're being nice to one or overly over and above the others. So
okay.
Thank you, Fumi.
Yeah. So next question goes to Toyin, because the person is asking if she can mention the assignment she gave and how to solve them. Toyin?
For me, I actually put it back in the chat box. So if the person scrolls up, because I saw that question just as I was ending my session, and I quickly typed it in. I said the assignment was, we wanted our participants to know themselves, which is to raise their level of self-awareness. And how to do it was to become present in the moment. So when they're having conversations with people, when they are having engagements with people, they should be present so that they can be more observant. That was the assignment and how to do it.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Toy. So the next question is saying, what can we do when our bosses shout at us at the office? She doesn't know how to lower her voice. What can you tell us to do in this situation? Okay. What can you advise us to do in this situation? Yeah.
Okay, is that to me or to Toyin?
Okay, you can take it, Ariola. Thank you.
Okay, there are two things there. We've talked about shouting earlier, about a boss that shouts and how to. Now, yeah, you said she doesn't know how to lower her voice. There are some people that are loud. The volume, that's how I can describe it, or the pitch of their voice is just loud. It's not that they mean to shout, but they're just loud. So that's, you either identify if that is, and if that's general, then the chances are that she's not shouting. She's just loud. She or he is just loud. They don't let me assume it's a she. So now, if that's not the case, we've answered that question, is to find a way to connect and in a very subtle term, give that feedback. If you do not have that connection, find somebody that can, in terms of somebody that is trusted and relates with her or him. In the case where Toyin has made suggestions, articles, books, don't give it to the person directly, just put it where they can see. You know, because if you give it to them directly, that's also what I try to say. You know, just put it where they can see. Put it on your table, put it in a direction, in a way that when the boss is walking past, the title comes to them. You know, so there are very other ways. We've said that about that.
Thank you very much for that, Ariola. And this is being asked by Bibiana, who says that, how can you as a skilled laborer handle an employer who is not skilled in their field and wouldn't let you impact your knowledge into the business? So I think what she's asking is, as a skilled person, you're working with someone that is not skilled in that space, and such person would not allow you impact your knowledge. More like micromanagement, yeah? Yeah. So I would have this thrown to Toyin to. Okay, can you please help us take that, please? Thank you.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to think and look for an example. And what I see there, you need to find out why, or not. Look at precedent set. There might be trust issues. So if there are trust issues, that means, does the person have, has the person experienced where they've been, they trusted somebody that, and the person took advantage? So you need to understand why that is there. Now, what happens is that is a bit of, it can't be done overnight, and you can't do this in large chunks. You're going to take it in little bits over very small things, gain their trust, or build, gain their trust. You are going to learn how to be able to communicate your ideas and not just say, oh, I think this is better. You are going to demonstrate why it is better, in the sense that how it impacts the Naira and Kobo, because at the end of the day, the boss is more concerned about the bottom line. So what you are doing is not just to say it, not just that we should do it this way. Why are you saying that we should do it? this way? What is the cost benefit? What is the need for the business? So you do it in starting small with everything. Start small and build on it. By the time the person has done, you've done one, and the person can see that, this boy knows, or this lady knows what she said about this. The second time it's, it worked out. Third time, you don't have to wait for them to go and meet, they'll come and meet you.
Thank you very much, Ariola. So I have a question here directed to you, Ariola, saying this person, Olumide Afolabi, would want you to summarize your points again on values, respect, and performance management.
Okay, sorry. Can we go over the question again?
Okay, so Olumide Afolabi would want you to please summarize your points on values, respect, and performance management.
All right, what I was saying there was that how to create a conducive environment, to ensure that employees can work and function. Now, first of all, you need your values have to be there. Yes, respect is a value, but it's a basic requirement for all human beings. You should speak to people, communicate people respectfully. You not only, I believe in this thing, you don't demand respect, you earn it. So if you respect me, they would respect you. That's it. That's how it works. It's vice versa. So when you demonstrate that and demonstrate your core values, I'm saying that these are fundamentals. Now, in terms of policies, there are fundamental policies that you have to ensure that you have an emotionally intelligent environment, or as a boss, you provide a conducive environment. And these policies and processes, there are three main ones. Performance management, whereby you review, set goals, review the performance depending quarterly, half year, annually, and then you give feedback. You also help tell people areas where they need to improve. You don't say you're bad in this. This is an area you need to improve. Simple. Disciplinary policy is to ensure that it's corrective. You don't encourage bad behavior, and then there's the grievance, whereby people can give you their pain points, and these policies ensure that you treat everybody equally and fairly. Now, and then the very practical bits are empathy, fairness and equity, setting the example, modeling. That means your behavior, your character, the way you communicate. I'm adding more to it. Communication, it should be non-threatening. It should be, your language choices you have to be careful about your language choices, because sometimes when we say something to one person, it means something else, just because maybe background, where their culture, where they're coming from. So you have to be careful with your language choices. Does that answer your question, please?
Hopefully, I'm sure it does. Thank you very much, Ariola. And last on the list here, is it okay to apologize to your employee, even though such employee is heady and likely to take that apology as a weakness?
Okay, why are you apologizing? You're not apologizing for the employee, but you're apologizing for yourself. I think that's the way I look at it. Now, if the person takes it as a weakness, it speaks more to that person than you. There's already a fundamental flaw or character flaw, because you've already identified the person is heady. Now, and you wouldn't, because the person is heady, you will now say that you two would now not do what is right. if you made a mistake or you acknowledge a mistake, it doesn't make, it shouldn't be, you shouldn't see it as being less of who you are. It is that person that has the issue. If that person takes it more than what it is, it's just an apology.
Thank you very much for that, Ariola. And that brings us to the end of the Q&A session. Thank you so much. Very, very, very interactive, impactful session, I must say. A lot has been shared in here. You must all agree with me that emotional intelligence is a very wide topic, and believe me, if we actually had taken even more than 2 hours, we would still not be reaching all the nitty-gritties it entails in emotional intelligence. And so I believe this is just a brief session to kind of nudge us towards emotional intelligence as a topic. I would advise that we could further go on and do trainings and what have you to help us. It's a course that is needed for everyone. We all need to be balanced emotionally to be able to be good at what we do, both at workers, employers, employee, business owners, customers. Every one of us need that emotional balance to be able to function. So I would say once again, thank you very much, Ariola and Tony, for doing this with us and sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. We appreciate. And for my participants, I must say thank you all very, very much for staying on this session and grabbing as much information and knowledge as you could. And I believe that with the information and knowledge shared here, we are going back to infuse and imbibe all that has been learned and, get better at what we do, both in our business and as a person. Thank you all once again for being on this session, and this brings us to the end of the session. I hope to do this again some other time, and I hope to have you, my participant, on the session again, where we share another topic with lots of knowledge to be taken back from it. LSETF remains your partner in progressing in your businesses. Thank you all very much. Do have a wonderful day and enjoy your day. Bye for now. Bye.